Hi, I am Magdala, and I come from the Maya Mexica tradition, and I'm very, very happy to be with you in these prayings this morning, thinking about all of you from everywhere in the world, and how in some way or another as you listen, you're doing your part. You're doing that part of light that you are in sharing, rearranging and understanding what is in this new world, in the sixth sun that we are just embarking. I am here just right after Priestess with my sister Christine. And yes, we are tired and there is so many messages that we want to share with you about what happened in this very powerful ceremony that we have. Maybe next year you can join us. But in this Priestess, it was also this alignment through that eclipse that happens. It was a lunar eclipse. That has to do with Father, Mother, and the earth, you. That alignment within yourself, that it really creates a very different story. It was very, very powerful. Strong. We work in the Tree of Life teachings, in how it is so absolutely important for the people to learn about it. Eventually, I'm going to write that book because people need to know and how to relate with these very ancient teachings. Now, with everything, it is so many different situations. In that Tree of Life, we work in so much in what it is, that root, that underworld, and where everything comes about. What happened in that situations? What happened in all these places inside of yourself that you are willing to embrace and recognize what is that new creation? Working with the three masculinities in those aspects of yourself and how you bring yourself into manifestation. A while back, we make a radio talk about that beautiful ball of light and where this is coming from. That divine spark of who you are. That you needed to come into a realm to have many lessons of love. And how it creates that seed of love, and how you begin to make it grow in different understandings, and how all these branches that are so deeply connected to the core are creating all these experiences that you learn, and you keep on understanding how it is branched out, how one thing it is taken to another, how one understanding of who you are, it is bringing more knowledge to you and creating a different branch, and how it is all these parallel lives that in some way or another are sharing the information. Sharing the information is very powerful because you don't need to have all the experiences, yet you are having all the experiences at the same time. Maybe this radio talk is going to be a little bit trippy, but just bear with me. So, here you are, a beautiful tree, all coming from the Great Mother. All comes from the core of the source of everything that exists. All interconnected with everything. How do you understand yourself, who you are? And what is it in every branch that you completely identify with that experience that in some cases you forgot that that is only a branch in that Tree of Life? and how absolutely is so interconnected. Christine, dance with me with this one.
Okay.
My sister. Okay, tell me how it was for you.
Well, it was all of the things that you just said about the interconnectedness of everything, all the way down into the very intimate areas of ourselves that don't support the core, don't flourish that tree, but are a decaying part of the tree. And identifying that and catching it, knowing that we're creating from a version that is not sustainable, that is not about that, is not the true self. It's about something that was a wrong belief or a situation brought about by a pain or a trauma or something like that. And we recreate into that over and over again, and recognizing that was a big, big, powerful message for all of us, I think. That the priestess ceremony this year and was agreed to be with us, that it was the most powerful one so far because of the intensity, because of the depth of where we went and the sweats that we had that brought about so much information and wisdom and healing too. That's what it was feeling like to me.
Yeah. Well, that is a very important situation that we work on. The different versions of yourself. Here it is the thing. You did born with an original code, your signature, an original vibration that only you can do that. That is your key to multidimensionality knowledge, understanding. That has to do with the balance of the male and female. But what happened? Well, you got programmed. You got programmed into a system that create all these distortions in you. Mm-hmm. They told you that you needed to go in life looking for love, the beggars of love. And that beggar of love create many versions of yourself that in some way you exchange tones of that vibration just to feel some kind of belonging, just to think that in those relations that you have, if you fake it, you will be accepted. Yet it is based on pretendence. It is based on a lie that you create for yourself, and then you believe it about this. You attract people. And you attract people because it is a reason for it. It is things that you need to learn, experiences that you need to have. And that has to do with a tone, maybe in your original vibration, that it is bringing that experience into being. Experience that you're supposed to be learning and going back into the core. The learning brings you back into the core. In what it is, that source where everything exists at the same time. Yet the versions of the versions of the versions, it is the time of the integration. And I think we have a radio talk that we talk about that integration. And if you don't judge it, but understand it, it doesn't matter how far away it was. It was, a few years or 50 years or whatever that is. You can always go there and heal those places within you because time doesn't really exist. You have a different versions of yourself that are stuck in a time loop, creating the same experience over and over and over again, wishing to learn from it. But until you are able to detach that emotion and see it without denying it, because if you deny it, you're going to be making a cover-up. But if you're able to see it, you're able to go there and heal those places within you. And understand that those versions that you create about yourself, they all come from all that place within you. You're able to create it because you're the daughter and the son of the Creator. So you're going to create, like it or not. The thing is what you're going to create. What is the thing that you are aligning with? In a system that it has been very much created to enslave the people. How much of that you are participating in it and you're bringing into yourself. So those versions of yourself, how do that go? It's different lifetimes, different choices. Every time that you understand that choice and what it was in the table of the possibilities is because every single part of it, you already live it. And you're making it official. Your true self, your original vibration. It is that part within you that you might call higher self, or you can have different names about it. But that is the part of you that recognizes that you are one with the source. In that merging part, it is very, very important. But you are also able to recognize that all that beautiful tree with all these branches and all this, it is just one single energy, the one that contains absolutely everything. And how many of those branches that you did identify with, that it was so far away from the source, it begins to decay. It was a lie that you wanted to leave. And you know that it is not connected to the core. Remember all these exercises that we did. Tell me what you feel, Christine, about it.
Yes, I mean, that's a good point too, Ma, that the things that we were learning were constantly being presented to us to see if we got it, and if we didn't get it, then what was the lesson for it. So we would go deep within ourselves to find out what we created and where it came from, so we would have a consciousness about that. And it was such a deeply intimate situation, as far as, we were constantly being presented with things that if we were not aware, we would get lost in it. Like you were saying, we are creating all the time. So, but what are you creating? Is it coming from the core of you, that ball of energy, that beautiful divine being that we are, or was it coming from something that we created in our minds from past experience or a fear, whatever it was, which has no sustainability? And that's the part you were just talking about with the decaying of that. We were given the opportunity through this ceremony in such an amazing way for us to see so many things within ourselves, to work through it with each of us together, but uniquely for each one of us. That was one of the most beautiful weavings that I think happened throughout ceremony this year, was that we recognized uniqueness with ourselves, but we also recognized the interconnectedness and how we relate and exchange things with each other without even maybe realizing it, which we do need to come to that realization.
That was a powerful message about how influences gets into you, even if you know that it is not true. Mm-hmm. And you still want to align with a lie because you feel some kind of a bonding, even if it is fake. But it covers the need of this version that you think that in that way you're going to be accepted, that you're going to be cherished or something.
Loved.
Love, a fake love.
A fake love.
That it is an experience actually, and it is beautiful as an experience to notice, okay, this is what I am aligning with. A lie. And I want to co-create with it because it gives me the sensation of belonging. And then you begin to lose yourself.
Yes. Yes.
And you begin to exchange your tones, and then suddenly You don't know what you want. You don't know where you're going. You don't know what is that core and source of energy because you went too far away. Just co-creating in a lie that you're being seen. And yet how those lies just disappear with one truth. One truth that it is holding into the core. A perception of reality that it is holding into the core and saying, okay, what is this? That it is emotional, that you think that that's the only thing that exists, that is not a big tree, but only that little branch exists, like completely identifying with it. And I think it is very powerful to understand emotions. You have all these powerful emotions. And maybe you are very, very sensitive. And it is beautiful. It is your superpower. Yet you do need to use that friction that emotion brings to go upper and higher and understand yourself much more deeper. The core knows that you are love. The core knows that you are living in a hologram, that it will change accordingly to changing your perception of reality. Everything changes. You know that all these experiences are just that, and they're there for you to learn from it and keep on moving. And in that way, you let go what it doesn't belong and bring the new things. That adventure itself, that it wants to know yourself much more deeper and go into that understanding of that version of yourself that you think that it is your higher self, that it has always been there. I really want to rephrase this that people have asked me is, do I truly lose myself? No. You always have your unique vibration. And it is so absolutely unique. You can't lose yourself. It might be that your consciousness can be in something of an experience that you think that that's the only thing that exists, but eventually you're gonna come back to yourself. What is it in that core of you that actually create and co-create? And with what do you want to co-create? Priestess this year, it was very powerful because these are new teachings in experience. People bringing that experience of that tree of life in every branch that they created or co-created. And why was that? What is it in that root, that underworld root, that it brings that one into being? A tree is as strong as long as the roots are strong. You know this. And what it is in your tree of life that it needs some pruning, maybe, to remove the things that doesn't really belong so you keep on growing. Removing the branches that they are in decayed because it was a lie. And in nothing it is being sustaining those branches. It just begins to dry. And how you're going to shape that tree. How you're going to understand that in order to have your next truth available for you, you do need to resolve a bunch of things first. That happens, What do you feel, Christina, about this?
Yeah, that's a really good point. I think the more we were talking about those places within ourselves and the loops we get into, I think that what you just said about it being the only thing that exists is a big clue if you get so hyper focused on something that's in the moment that is based on a non-truth, and that's all you can see, that's a very big clue to know that you're not connected to the core. You're not seeing the big picture. You're seeing this minuscule little situation that just popped up that you aligned with. And that can be a major point of discernment where you're going, okay, what's going on here? What's my part in this? Is this true? Is this not true? If someone is telling you this is not true, you need to trust that as well, especially when it's Ma. So she knows true.
Well,
and she will say, but, in some situations it was like, well, no, we you don't understand, we know. And, I think those, for lessons from me, that was a lot of the points of my learning there in ceremony was like, what am I doing? What am I creating? Where is it coming from? Is it sustaining or not? And if it's not, it needs to be learned and then dropped. And let's go forward.
Well, there is so many experiences that happen in ceremony, and it's very much about the people to realize what's going on. There is this one situation, I can tell you this in the radio talk. Here is Christine. She was leading the way with the light, and suddenly she goes, there is a huge tree impeding for us to keep on walking. And we all saw the tree. And then I turn around and says, it's not true. And the tree disappeared just in front of our eyes.
Yes.
We have that understanding in a deep manner in how it is and how it works. Well, I know that we're just saying in here just the tip of the iceberg about telling you the story and what happened in the temazcales that we have, the messages, and how beautiful. And we are so grateful for everyone that it was there in that ceremony, because each one knew their place, and it was very, very beautiful. I want you to go to our website, magdalas.com. That is MAGDALAS.com. And subscribe for the newsletter. Eventually, we're going to begin to send all this newsletter. It has been so much going on, but I'm going to resume and do this. I also want you to download Messages from the Great Mother, the app, in your phone, because, oh my gosh, it has been so powerful. And join us in the school online that we have. There are teachings. There are teachings every Sunday, but there are also different courses that you need to heal, to understand. Remember that the only one that you need to reach is you. And nobody can make your work but you. Thank you, Christine, for doing this with us.
Grateful.
And thank you, everyone. Tlatzokomate, Tlatzokomate, Tlatzokomate. I am you. I am Magdala.